The Way of White was originally founded to serve both to deify the rulers of men and as a call to action for undead to ever spread the curse. Maidens would infect corpses with cursed sparks of flame, creating undead.
Man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Nito, the Grave Lord, was responsible for the undead hunts, mass killings of infected undead that would result in more infections through their contaminated souls being spread around at bonfires. The epidemic that arose only served as more fuel to the fire, as the Holy Crusades became ever more popular. The Gravelord's Servants Covenant is essentially a black op designed to do covertly what the undead hunts started doing with the backing of the masses. The first reform of the Way of White happened during Gwyndolин's rule, after Gwyn was conspired against and ousted by a coup. Gwyndolin restructured the religious doctrine to make it about the fire-linking prophecy, in turn convincing the masses to follow that path. Past imagery of Gwyn and the old royals of Anorlondo was switched mainly to that of Kaita, the goddess of tears, an alias of Velka, the rogue goddess of sin, so that she could be freely worshipped without the weight of her nebulous reputation. The tears shed by Kaita are represented by the Tearstone rings, magical artifacts designed to help undead in their fire-linking journey. She cries for them and aids them as a motherly protector. Statues depicting the martyrdom of the undead were also built and spread around various religious sites. Some depicting the snakes that aided Gwyndolин's conspiracy are present in the Lothric castle. During Gwyndolин's rule, the Way of Blue Covenant, coupled with the Blue Sentinels, was founded as a successor to Velka's Blades of the Dark Moon. Its purpose was to aid journeying undead in their duty of fire-linking. The blue in its name is an obvious reference to the knights that would be brought by the New Order. In Dark Souls 3, the Covenant symbol features a Lothric Knight sword. Lothric was the epicenter of the fire-linking culture, and its knights engaged in rituals of martyrdom to bring forth the eclipse. The second reform of the Way of White happened after Gwyndolin was ousted by a coup. Corrupt high-ranking members of the clergy collaborated with Pontiff Sulyvahn to murder Gwyndolin and reign as Wien loyalists, or fundamentalists of the old doctrine of the Way of White. Sulyvahn was born inside the painted world of Ariandel. He studied sorcery and produced a couple of frozen spells that reflect the stagnant nature of his frigid homeland. He left the painting during his young years and traveled through the land in pilgrimage. In the midst of his travels, however, when he discovers the profaned capital and saw the unfading, profaned flames imprisonment, a burning ambition took root within him. He wanted to restore the flame's position as the sun. He doubted the linking of the fire. And thus, his plan of revenge took shape. He infiltrated the newly founded kingdom of Lothric's ranks, and became the first scholar of the Grand Archives. He became close with Prince Lothric, who he advised as his private mentor, and instructed to abandon his vows as Lord of Cinza. He plotted a coup with high-ranking members of the clergy to murder Gwyndolin, the current ruler, and reform the Way of White religion. All to restore what he may have honestly perceived to be the prime age of the past, the Age of Fire. His ambition is one of genuine, rightful revenge, as indicated by the deep purple enchantment, the same type of justice-fueled magic once cast by Velka, of his great sword of judgment. As a player character of Dark Souls 3, by killing the Firekeeper and offering your soul to the fading, eclipsed sun, instead of advancing the fire-linking or usurping the flame as a lord of a new age, we are enacting Sulyvahn's will of restoring the Age of Fire, as foolish as that will may be.
Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. and so it is that ash seeketh embers.
While I don't like using cut content as a base for lore research, much like over-relying on Japanese-English translations, or Miyazaki's inspiration from real-world mythology, as I believe all we need to know to understand the story of Dark Souls is contained in Dark Souls, it's worth mentioning that Pontiff was originally meant to be the last boss of Dark Souls 3. A gatekeeper of fire linking. He would fight against all contenders to end their journey and prevent them from either linking the fire or usurping it. Aldrich and his followers reformed the Way of White and restored its original doctrines. Kaita's statues were covered by red blankets. They revived the practice of undead hunting, and their evangelists conduced mass burnings to spread the ever-waning curse. They preached the cleansing of the bastard's curse, which could either mean they dishonestly or wrongly, if they are ignorant of the curse's origins, attribute the curse of undead to Gwyndolin, Gwyn's bastard, or that they claim fire linking and its consequences are a curse. Their influence on the masses of undead may have created the Mound Makers, an invading covenant of hollow hunters who are themselves hollowing and end their duty by self-sacrificing to further spread the curse, perhaps thinking they are bringing warmth to the world. The Deacons of the Deep's task is to guard on human dregs, the physical darkness and dampness of man embodied, to become the bedrock of the world. That is, to recreate the abyss of the Age of Fire, with the humid dark imprisoned at the bottom and the fiery sun shining above in contrast. That is why Aldrich founded an invading covenant, the Aldrich Faithfuls, their holy symbol being a golden candlestand. Archdeacon MacDonald, the Covenant's figurehead, has become so bloated from cannibalizing human dregs he doesn't seem to be able to move. Aldrich himself became a gigantic, abyssal, serpent-like slime from his cannibal practices. Given how the souls offered to firelinking reincarnate and take new form, it should be noted that Aldrich appears to have directly inherited the soul of Smuth, the cannibal executioner. Once defeated, the player is able to purchase Smuth's armor at Firelink Shrine,